Okay, now in this video, we're going to show you how to set up your Google Display Network campaign so you can run your banner ads. So here we are, you're in your home screen here in the demo account that we have set up, and we're just going to click on this button here. So you're on the All Online Campaigns tab, right? On the Campaigns tab, All Online Campaigns. This is the normal screen that I get to when I log in, and I click the New Campaign button right here. Again, if you don't see this button, New Campaign right here, then just click on the button on the top left that says All Online Campaigns, and then you should get to this point. So I click on New Campaign, and actually when I click on it, it gives me the drop-down options here of 3 different options. And I'm going to actually choose for this one, Display Network Only, okay? Because this is going to be a Display Network Only campaign. So it's going to bring me here to the campaign setup page. So we already have our search campaign set up, and now we're going to set up our banner campaign. And it's taking a little while here for this to load for me for some reason. We're moving a little slow here today. But here we go. Okay, so I'm going to call the campaign, I'm going to call it Display Network. Right? Got my first one called Search. I'm going to call this one Display Network. And pretty much on the devices, I start with here, I remove the mobile devices for this one, for Display Network. This is just a personal preference, to be honest with you, because I just don't see it. I like from someone searching from their mobile phone, from like a smartphone, and we're running these banner ads, or if it's not a banner ad on the Display Network, it would be like a small text ad that's in the bottom corner or somewhere on the website. So I just don't, I think mobile devices are just too small to really have your banner ads and other text ads running. So I just don't trust it. I just don't trust that people aren't clicking on it by accident, that I don't trust that I'm getting good leads from that. So it's just a personal preference, but personally when I run Display Network ads, at least starting out, I typically only choose desktop and laptop and tablets with full browsers for Display Network. That's just my personal preference. Now again, you're going to choose your location, right? So you're going to choose, let me choose here, and then you're going to choose whatever location you're in. So, Miami, Florida, okay, say here. Choose that. And then we're going to have the languages. You could just leave it here. For Display Network, you can just leave it. Budget. Okay, let's say I have $100 a day budget here on this. You'll set your clicks on the next step. Delivery method, again, I like to have accelerated to show ads as quickly as reasonably possible, especially since I'm going to be doing time scheduling for this. Ad extensions here, because this is going to be strictly a Display Network, I'm not sure why they have this information, why they have this here, extend my ads with location information, but hey, may as well extend it. So this is where you can enter your Google Places again here. I don't know, I've never seen a Google Places information appear on the Display Network, so I'm not even sure why they ask for this, but if they are asking for it, you may as well put it in. It takes a second here to put in your Google Places information here in the ad extensions, and you can also put in a call extension, but I've never seen a Google Places or a phone number appear in a Display Network ad, so on an ad on a website, and especially if you're running banner ads, it's only going to show your banner. So I think these are irrelevant, but since they're giving you the option, you may as well put it in. As far as scheduling, again, what I would do is I would only have the banners running. You can do the time scheduling here, okay? So you see where it says ad scheduling, show ads all days and hours. I would edit that, and I don't like running from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So I would say I would start, or first of all, you want to run it only when the business is open. Now, if they're expanding their campaign, a lot of times they're going to expand their campaign to run 24/7 to have an after-hours answering service. If that was the case, I'd probably still set it from 6 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. or something like that, and then copy to all days, right? So let's say I did that. Even if they have an after-hours answering service, I don't think I want to run my ads too much from midnight to 6 a.m. I just found that you get a lot of bad clicks, not a lot of leads, and you still do get clicks during those times. So I personally like to stay away from those times whenever possible. Again, if you're really, really trying to expand as much as possible, you can run ads all days and hours. For my remarketing campaign, which I'll show you how to set up in the next video, for the remarketing campaign, I do have it show all days and hours because that's only targeting people who already hit my website. So that's a little different. But for Display Network, I'd like to, first of all, you'd probably want to run it only when they have someone available to answer the phone. So if they only have someone available to answer the phone from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., then you'd only run the ads, from those times, right? And let's say they don't have anyone on the weekend, then on the weekends you do not running, right? Copy to weekends, not running. So that's how fast you can change the scheduling. Very simple, as you just saw. And again, so that's what you would do. Make sure they have someone available to answer the phone. If they do have someone 24/7, I'd still recommend running it from 6 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. just to avoid any bad clicks and bad charges. And otherwise, schedule it the same way you scheduled your search network campaign for when only when people are there to answer the phone. Okay, so you could do your scheduling there. I'll save that time scheduling. Ad delivery, ad rotation. You can just leave that as is. And that's all we need to do here. We don't need the social settings. So there we go. We're going to set up that campaign pretty much the same way we set up the search campaign, except just a little different. Ad group name here. I could just put display network again. I could call it the banner ad campaign. Let's say I call it banner ads. And let's say that my default bid, I'm going to put $3.05 or something. So here's another thing to note here. With these display ads on the display network, these banner ads and your text ads you run on the display network, remember, they're not as high of a quality of a lead, but they're a much lower cost per click. I would probably start with my banner ads with a maximum of $3.05. And you might even want to take it down a little bit from there. But I like $3.05 because it ensures I get a good position typically with my banner ads. So as you can see, you can bid way, way lower with banner ads. And so, yeah, I would recommend just starting right here, $3.05, and see what average position it puts you in. And you always want to be obviously in the top 3 and preferably closer to number 1 or 2 with your positioning here. So with the positioning, it's not like on a Google search campaign where you'll be number 1, 2, or 3 on the page. But with banner ads, if you're bidding the highest and you have a high click-through rate, then your banner will get the most preference and be in the most prominent spot on that website. So again, that's why you want to still bid pretty good. A lot of people might only bid $1 or $2, but I would probably start a little bit higher just to ensure my banners get good positioning on the website. Now here you have the option to choose how to target your ads. We're going to do remarketing in a later one, so we're not going to do remarketing. We could do display keywords or use a different targeting method here, okay? So let's say we're going to do keywords. I think ideally I would recommend that you want to start with keywords, and I'll show you later on how you can actually, what kind of research you're going to do after. You're going to look at what sites you're appearing on, and you're going to check out some of those sites, and if they look like they're bad sites, then you're going to exclude those sites. So what's cool about that is that after you run these banner ads for a few days, let's say, it's going to start showing you some data that you can look at as to what websites your ads have been running on and which websites have been getting you the most clicks. And sometimes you'll find that some really weird websites are getting you lots of clicks. And I would recommend you actually go to those websites, type them into a web browser, and see what those websites are all about. And if they're not a good fit, what you could do is there's a button that allows you to exclude those websites from your ads showing on those websites in the future. So that's pretty cool. After you get some data, you can find out which sites are your ads are getting clicks from, and if any of them look like bad sites that you shouldn't have your banners on, you can exclude those sites, and that's how you can kind of fine-tune and improve from there. So with keywords here, Google recommends that you enter between 5 to 15 keywords per ad group here. And so for display network campaigns, so for this ad group, so let's say we want to enter 5 to 15 campaigns, so 5 to 15 keywords. So let's say, for example, again, let's just stick with the example we've been using. Let's say for a chiropractor, for example, obviously your keywords are going to be chiropractor, chiropractic. And the other thing about this is with the display network, you don't need to put in the exact match or anything like that. You don't have to put an exact match or phrase match or any of that stuff. You just put the keyword in, one keyword per line here. Okay. Now what I might do here is I might actually click this button as I start putting in my keywords, find related keywords, and let's see what the system suggests here. So chiropractor office, chiropractor den, chiropractic treatment. Yeah, so I don't need any of those. So chiropractor, chiropractic. Now for this one, I might put back pain. Why? Because think about this, right? There's probably not too many blogs that are blogging about a chiropractor or have the word chiropractor on their blog, but there might be a lot of blogs talking about back pain or pain relief or something like that. So those are type of things that you might want to put into the display network, where I would not recommend using keywords like that in the search network, because at least not to start, right? I wouldn't be putting in back pain or pain relief or pain doctor or injury doctor or injury attorney even, right? Because a lot of chiropractors, they make a lot of money off of people who were injured in accidents as well. That's why a lot of chiropractors and attorneys work closely together, actually. So yeah, things like that. So you can go, what's different here, with the mindset that you have to think differently with your keywords on your display network, where you're going to be running your banner ads, is what kind of blogs. For example, real estate is a huge niche where there's lots of real estate blogs and people are reading information about real estate and all sorts of stuff like that. Financial services is another thing where people are constantly reading, and there's tons of blogs about financial services and things like that, right? So you want to think about, where. What would be written on those blogs? So again, they're probably not going to be blogging too much. I mean, I would have the word chiropractor and chiropractic in here, and I don't think you need to go crazy with too many plurals. But I would put in chiropractors too. It's a little different with the display network. So here's what I would have: chiropractor, chiropractors, chiropractic, back pain, pain relief, pain doctor, injury doctor. That would probably be a decent one to start with. Okay, so then I would just hit this button here, add keywords, and then let's see what it says here for narrow your target even further. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with the narrow your target even further right now. None of this I would not mess with, because Google doesn't have as good a data as Facebook does for narrowing your target method. So I just wouldn't mess with that at all. So I could do save and continue here, and then you get to where you enter your ad. So again, just think about that a little bit differently, that these are going to be ads that are going to be appearing on websites or blogs or things like that, where your keywords are triggered, where your keywords are on that website or in that blog or something like that. Okay, so then you get to your ad. Now here's the thing that's different here. You can enter your text ad. This is very similar to the search campaign, just a regular text ad. And I would recommend that you do enter one text ad. Okay, so I would recommend that you do enter one text ad into your display network campaign, just to have a text ad in there. Because sometimes certain websites don't have room for an entire banner ad, but they do have room for a little text ad. So I would recommend you do put a text ad in this campaign. So I would fill out and again, what I would use for this text ad here would be my highest converting ad that I've been testing from the search campaign, right? So I have my data from the search campaign, the highest converting ad. I'd use that here as the text ad in my display network campaign. Then the next one is image ad. So here we go. Now we're at the image ad. Now I can choose the file and the URL, and here it shows you the formats and the sizes. And like I told you before, the 300 by 250 and the 728 by 90 are the sizes that by far get you the most traffic. And that's why the banner templates that I've given you are for 300 by 250 and 728 by 90. Those are the ones that are the most prominent. They stand out the more. They'll get you the most traffic. So you don't really need to mess around and go crazy with a million different banners. I would just start with 728 by 90 and 300 by 250. And very, very simple. You just upload the image right here. You just choose the file. You upload it from your computer, right? So you're going to take the banner ad template that I gave you, send it to some designer, or if you know how to do Photoshop and edit the banner yourself, go for it. Again, like I said, I outsource all that stuff. But you just have someone change the words on that banner to the words that you want for your client, and then they send you the final version. It has to be a 50K max file size. So you might want to tell your graphic person the templates I've given you are less than 50K. I had my designer make it at a file size of less than 50K, but obviously you're going to need to change those and have your copy for your client put on those banner ads that I showed you. So you would just upload them here. The name of the image doesn't really matter. Your display URL doesn't really actually matter too much either with the banner ads, but you just enter your display URL of the website. You could put a / free consultation if you want, just like we had display URL on the search network. And the destination URL, of course, is where people will go once they click on your banner ad. So very simple, very straightforward. You'd choose the banner, you'd put it in there. You'd hit save, then it would give you an option to create another ad, and I would recommend you have one text ad, and you'd have 2 image ads, right? You'd have one image ad for the 300 by 250 banner, and may as well just bring it back up here from the last one, right? So we had, here's the 300 by 250 banner. Okay, we saw that one there, and then here's a 728 by 90 banner. So just start with those 2, and that would be 2 separate ads for you here, right? One text ad and then 2 image ads, one for the 728 by 90 and one for the 300 by 250. And then you just go save and continue to billing once you have those ads in there. So really simple, really straightforward, and that is the basic campaign setup of your Google Display Network campaign. Now, what I want to do in a future video is actually try to show you one of my clients' accounts who has been running Display Network ad and banner ads, because I want to show you how you can look at the data. After a week's worth of data, you've been running your ad, then you can see which websites you've been running on and try to determine if those are good websites that you want your ads to run on or not. So that's a really cool thing, is looking at that data and then excluding any websites that you don't want your ads to run on. But that's it. I mean, very simple to set up your Google Display Network campaign. And remember, you can get a ton of traffic. You can just keep expanding your campaign even more, adding, set up another, if you want more traffic, if you say, hey, the banner ads are going great, client is getting lots of more leads from it, you want to expand the banner campaign, you just set up another ad group, add some different keywords in there, and make them more broad, right? So pain relief as opposed to just back pain. Pain relief would be something that would make you go even more broad. Or injury, just having the word injury by itself, right? The word injury is probably on a lot of different blogs, a lot of different websites. So that could have if you're an injury attorney, for example, that could be another one. Or a chiropractor looking to target, or a doctor looking to target people who are injured, right? That could be a good word that could expand you and get you a lot of traffic. So start though with your main core keywords and see how much traffic you get. Make sure, do quality control, talk to your client, make sure that after a week of running the focused banner ad campaign, results are going well, and then you can expand it from there. So really great way to get additional traffic, and as you can see, very simple to set up, and you have the proven high converting banner ad templates to already work with, so you're well on your way.